Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user Kindred Coca-Cola. Me, 19 female, with my aunt 40 female. I agreed to do some artwork for her business. I thought we agreed she would pay me. She said she is giving me experience. What should I do? I'm worried how this will impact my family. Where to begin on this? I am currently in a very expensive art school. It's always been my dream to be a paid artist, and I think I'm very good at taking people's ideas and turning them into reality. My parents have been awesome, and they saved up so much money for me to go to school that I only have a small number of student loans, but any paid work I get is a huge help. My dad has two brothers, both are married, so let's say their wives are Aunt Kay and Aunt Jay. Last year, Aunt Kay asked me to paint a picture of the view of the mountains from her dad's gravesite. I did a very stylized acrylic that I thought turned out excellent. In fact, it's one of my favorite things I've ever done. Aunt Kay actually broke into tears, and I was so moved that I tried to refuse payment from her because her appreciation meant so much to me, and she isn't wealthy by any means. But in the end, she insisted on paying me and paid me far more than any of my artwork is worth. The money was so helpful this past year. So Aunt Jay contacted me at the beginning of the year about how impressed she was with Aunt Kay's painting and asking me if I would be willing to work on some designs for her new real estate business. I 100% remember telling her that I was really busy this semester and that as much as I hated to, I would have to charge her for my time because it would cut into my free time. I also swear on everything, I am positive that she said, "Don't worry about anything, I'll pay you." But it came out very nice. Well, she wanted a lot of stuff done. Logos, office painting, a design for a mural in her office, a design for those magnets that go on cars, and some other small things. Things got weird from the start. I did some initial sketches for her to see if we were going down the right path, and she actually got sort of mad at me because I was wasting her time with non-finished products. I told her that's kind of how I work because I don't want to waste expensive materials on ideas that she may not like. I actually have this in text and she said, "My time is just as valuable as your materials, so please don't waste it." I was like, okay. So I spent the next week doing a very elaborate oil painting from which her business logo would be taken. I even UPS shipped it to her. She hated it and got mad at me again for wasting her time. I tried to explain to her this is why I like to do sketches, so there's no misunderstanding. She agreed this time and I finally came up with things she liked. I'd spent a lot of time on this project already. Not so much that my grades were slipping, but it was costing me time with my friends. So I did final versions of the oil painting for the office, did what I think was a really cool logo and a really nice mock-up for the office mural. I was out quite a bit of money for the materials and shipping, and it was very stupid of me not to follow up about the payment then. Things got really weird when she accused me of dragging my feet on the car magnet design. I said that what she should do is take the logo to the local graphic design place and they could easily do it. I also told her I thought we had the materials to make them at my school, but I personally didn't. She accused me of not working hard enough for her. I was really taken aback and just decided enough was enough and I would just stop doing things for her. This is where things get really ugly. She contacted me out of the blue and thanked me for the advice on the magnets. She said that now she was ready for me to fly out and paint her office mural. I said that was pretty much impossible as I had classes and any decent mural painter could take my mock-up and make it happen. She said she wanted me to do it, so I talked with my teachers to see if I could take a week off. All were supportive, so I looked up tickets and told Aunt Jay what it would cost to fly me out. She said that she assumed I would pay for it since I'd get to see my family anyways. I said I was really sorry but I just can't afford it, but maybe if she paid me for the work I'd already done for her, maybe I could see if my parents would split the cost of the ticket with me. She literally exploded on me. I mean exploded. She accused me of showing favoritism to Aunt Kay because I'd tried to refuse payment for the gravesite painting. She accused me of dragging my feet, and as quoted as I can, "I wanted this crap in January and it's almost effing April." I tried to break in and say that we agreed I'd be paid, and she called me short-sighted and said something like, not a quote, "Do you realize how much doing work for someone like me can mean for someone like you? I'm giving you free advertising because hundreds of people will come in and out of my office every week." She then said she had given me valuable experience that is worth more than any amount of money. I was shocked and I said, actually, her work was pretty easy and I'd done tons of pieces like that when I was in high school. She then said I was insulting her intelligence and hung up on me. That was yesterday afternoon and I'm still in shock. I haven't told my parents, I haven't told my uncle, and I definitely haven't tried to call my aunt back. I'm worried that this is going to cause a big rift in my family, and since she gets to see everyone on at least a weekly basis, she'll get to tell her side of the story and I'll look like a greedy jerk that expects money from family. The art is a moot point because I can just stop and I can't afford a ticket with my own money, so that will have to go to the wayside, but I'm worried about the effect on my family. What should I do here? Well, OP, you shouldn't worry about creating any rift in your family because your aunt is the one that's going to be doing that, not you. You had an agreement with her and she should pay you. And if anybody sees you as a greedy jerk, well then F him, because you worked, you put in your time and your effort and money into doing this job and you should be rewarded correctly. And all those idiotic arguments like, oh, we're family, oh, it's for exposure, oh, you'll get free marketing. That's all BS and you can't pay the bills with that. So what I would do is tell my family, tell my parents, what the hell. I'm pretty sure your parents would believe you over this aunt, so get ahead of it as quickly as you can. And what do you guys think? What would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Graceland Rocks says, your auntie is why realtors have a bad name. She's trying to bully you, but use this as a lesson on 1. Always make the ground rules clear before taking on a job. 2. Not doing anything for free unless it's volunteer work for a charity, and even then setting limits for how far you are willing to go for them. And 3. Avoid working for family. If you do, follow rule number 1. Now, just refuse to do any more work for your aunt until she pays you for the cost of your materials and time. Tell your parents what's going on so when auntie goes ballistic, they're prepared. Also, tell the other members of the family, but in a chatty, totally not bitching auntie out way, so you're setting the narrative within your family. Eshtive353 says, don't give her the work you've done for her without a payment. Put watermarks on everything, and in the future, get this sort of stuff written down so this BS doesn't happen again. Tell your parents how your aunt is treating you as well, and maybe think twice about getting into business with family in the future. Your aunt is BSing you and you shouldn't give in. KDBug17 says, you need to reach out to your parents and let them know what is going on. Your dad may be better equipped to talk to his brother and sister-in-law about this than you will be. Also, your aunt sounds like someone who is going to trash talk you to the rest of your family, and it's important that they hear your side first. OP's edit. This totally blew up. I've been working all day and got back to check in once in a while. Sorry I didn't get a chance to reply. I tried to call my parents and tell them, but didn't get an answer, but I'll keep trying. I did get to talk to one of my favorite teachers and she was pissed. She is best friends with our school's licensing and legal affairs advisor and set me up with an appointment in the morning to find out what recourse I have. Thank you so much for everyone and the advice. Alright, well, the community gave OP some pretty good advice. I believe the first commenter is the best one, and OP is on her way to rectify things. Now, this is where you might want to pause the video and grab some popcorn, because we make the shift now to Pro Revenge and it gets wild. This post is from the subreddit Pro Revenge and it's by user Kindred Coca-Cola. My aunt tried to use the "you don't need money, I'm giving you experience and exposure" for some art I did for business. She got called out. Now her entire scam and life is unraveling, and while I don't like to gloat, I can't help but snicker. Side note, I'm going to skip the recap and get straight into where we left off in the story. I had a meeting with my school's licensing and legal advisor, and she helped me draft a letter stating that since no legal transfer of ownership had taken place, Aunt J was to cease using any of my work immediately. We also wrote up an invoice for my time, materials, and shipping up to that point, with a very friendly 15% family discount, and that if Aunt Jay were to work out a payment plan, she could continue using the finished pieces. I emailed them to her. I was very sincerely trying to handle this like an adult and not involve my parents or my uncle, Dad's brother and Aunt Jay's husband. But maybe 1.5 hours after I pressed send on the email, my mom called me and said, "Aunt Jay just called and completely chewed me out over what an ungrateful brat you are. What's going on?" I explained the situation to her and apologized because I really was trying to handle it myself. She was apoplectic mad and revealed to me that Aunt Jay had been pulling this kind of BS ever since she married my uncle. Mom really wished I would have called when this first started, and she would have advised me to avoid ever doing anything with her. I said I was sorry that I was in so deep, but I felt like I was handling it okay. My mom asked if it was okay if she got involved. I said that was okay. Aunt Jay got her real estate license last fall and had been telling my uncle that she was a lock to be a franchise, or whatever you call it in real estate, for a nationwide real estate company. Let's call it Pro Realty, fake name. My mom called the local Pro Realty office and asked who she should talk to because one of their agents had commissioned several thousands of dollars worth of professional promotional materials and was refusing to pay. She was put on the phone with whoever was the highest ranking agent in my hometown, who was incredibly confused because all the local offices were under his guidance and they had a promotional materials contact with a local graphic design company. My mom gave him Aunt Jay's name, and holy crap, Aunt Jay was using this multi-million-dollar real estate company's name and materials when she wasn't even part of the company. I mean, this is a huge deal and she could literally be facing years of legal trouble, and since real estate license is a fairly small world in our state, she is almost certainly going to lose her license if Pro Realty pursues her. I honestly don't know enough about real estate to know how or even if she was making this work, or if she was just biding her time until the franchise did come through. I have no idea. Maybe her scam wouldn't have been figured out if she'd just paid me. But it gets even deeper than this. Aunt Jay had just bought a huge new Cadillac Escalade over Christmas, and since she said it was for work, she told my uncle that Pro Realty was helping her finance it. My dad called my uncle, his brother, to let him know what my mom had found out as a heads up. My uncle freaked out because obviously, if she wasn't part of Pro Realty, then she wasn't getting the generous financing terms from Pro Realty on her new $80,000 car. My uncle ran his credit and it looks like Aunt Jay had taken out 2 credit cards in his name and maxed them out. He thinks for the down payment on this car. So not only was Aunt Jay screwing me over, she was in a roundabout way stealing using the established name of a multi-million-dollar company, but she committed identity theft against her own husband too. And now she's been exposed because she refused to pay me. My uncle told my dad that he's known that the last straw has been coming for a long time, and this was the last log. He's contacting divorce attorneys immediately and hopes he doesn't get taken down in case Pro Realty decides to pursue real legal action against her. He's going to have the lawyer advise him on what to do about identity theft. Basically, Aunt Jay is screwed in every way imaginable. I've never been one to gloat, and I always take pity on people who are having a hard time. I'm not this time. Wow, this Aunt Jay is a piece of work. Anyways, there's still one last part to this story, so let's finish up with that. So, first of all, we learned that she probably never told anyone other than my uncle that she was working for Pro Realty. It doesn't look like she had any clients, never brokered a single deal. She may have taken a few people around to look at houses, but we aren't even sure about that. It looks like the soon-to-be Pro Realty franchise thing was just a lie to get my uncle off her tracks about where this huge influx of cheaply financed money was coming from. She had told him that Pro Realty had financed her new Escalade and that they had helped her rent her office. Since she never actually claimed to be a certified Pro Realty agent in order to defraud people, it doesn't look like the company itself has any legal recourse against her. However, my mom, extreme extrovert opposite of me, has become fast friends with the most senior agent in my hometown, and he is going to report my aunt to the State Board of Real Estate to have her newly obtained license reviewed and probably suspended. Even if this doesn't happen, she is essentially blackballed from ever doing a deal with Pro Realty, and according to this senior agent, something like 45% of home sales in my town happen with a Pro Realty agent on either side of the sale. So even if Aunt J doesn't lose her license, she's effectively chopped half of her business potential right from the get-go. Also, something that came out of my last Pro Revenge post was that 2 actual Pro Realty agents commented, and it was because of them that I was able to figure out a huge chunk of the puzzle. So, the real-life version of Pro Realty uses a very identifiable form of transportation on their logo, but to keep this anonymous, let's say that Pro Realty uses a boat. When Aunt J was first talking to me about doing work for her, she was oddly adamant that I don't use any boats in any of the work I was going to do for her. I mean, actually forcefully direct instructions was, no boats! In my head at the time, I was like, I'm not one to paint boats anyways, but point taken. Well, as me and my family now surmise, while she knew she was already fraudulent, she was still trying to walk a line of not getting on Pro Realty's radar in any way, shape or form, because she knew they could really screw up her plans if she were to be seen driving an $80,000 Escalade around town with anything resembling Pro Realty's boat plastered all over it. But to me, it shows she absolutely knew she was up to no good, and I hope this can be used in the divorce. So on to my uncle. I don't know all the ins and outs of how separations and divorces work, but as I understand it, he contacted a lawyer and they were working to file some sort of emergency separation motion with the courts as soon as they possibly could in order to make sure she couldn't do any more financial damages to him. One thing that I thought was really cool of my uncle to do was that he had his lawyer file paperwork so she has to turn over all financial records and declare all assets related to her business, and my uncle specifically asked the lawyer to include the oil painting and logos I already shipped her. So while I'll never get paid, at least I may get my work back. The lawyer is also figuring out what to do about identity theft. One thing that is totally screwed up and I totally don't understand is that my uncle has pretty much paid for everything since they've been married, about 5 years, and Aunt J literally committed identity theft against him. However, he is still the one who has to leave the house. So until he can get a place of his own, he's staying with my parents. My dad says my uncle is basically broken over this, that he didn't see it coming, and actually bought into the bullcrap about Pro Realty financing a car for someone who didn't even work for them. This makes me feel bad because I brought it all to light, but my dad says my uncle appreciates it because Aunt J could have gotten in much deeper and she didn't really have a chance to try and cover up fraud with more fraud. My uncle's lawyer doesn't have a timeline for the divorce. I guess it will just depend if stupid Aunt J actually finds a lawyer who will put up a fight or if she just tries to fade away. We'll see. Thank you for reading, thank you for all the comments of the other day, and thank you to the posters who have provided a lot of clarity with their knowledge of relationships and the real estate business. Opie's edit. I just talked with my mom again. My uncle wasn't forced to leave the house. I guess his lawyer advised him that if he felt he was in any danger or if he felt that there was even a slight chance that Aunt J would accuse him of harming her, it's best he just leave and they work out possession of the house later. It's very hard to reconcile that he was either scared of her or scared of her accusing him. My dad's huge 6'3" little brother who used to throw me around in our pool. Growing up sucks. And that's it. That's all the information I could get from this OP and her stories and comments and all of that. So hopefully OP's uncle didn't have any problems in the divorce and Aunt J is paying for what she did. In any case, thank you for sharing, OP, and take care. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I will see you guys in the next video.